Sairam children, today we will start lesson number 2, microorganisms, friend and foe. Before we start the lesson, let us do 3 omkars. Om, Om, Om. Sairam children, microorganisms are very tiny. We cannot see it with our own naked eyes. You need a microscope or a magnifying glass to see it. Friend, you know what is the meaning of friend. Foe means enemy. Whether microorganism is a friend or an enemy. Let us start the lesson. You have seen several kinds of plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which we normally cannot see. These are called microorganisms or microbes. For example, you might have observed that during the rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with greyish white patches. You take a piece of bread, put it in a closed box. After 2 days, you open the box and see the bread will have developed fungus on it, which would be greenish grey in color. Observe the patches through a magnifying glass. You will see tiny black rounded structures. Activity 2.1. Collect some moist soil from the field in a beaker. Add water to it. After the soil particles have settled down, observe a drop of water from the beaker under a microscope. This drop of water will have microorganisms. Take a few drops of water from a pond. Spread on a glass. Slide and observe. You will see microorganisms. These observations show that water and soil are full of tiny organisms. Though not all of them fall into the category of microbes. These microorganisms or microbes are so small in size, they cannot be seen with unaided eye. Without a magnifying glass or a microscope, we cannot see microorganisms. Some of these, such as the fungus that grows on bread, can be seen with a magnifying glass. Others cannot be seen with a microscope. That is why these organisms are called microorganisms or microbes. So why these tiny organisms are called microorganisms? Because you need a microscope to see them. You cannot see them without a microscope. Microorganisms are classified in 4 major groups. These groups are bacteria, fungus, protozoa and algae. Some of these common microorganisms are in the figure. Virus are also microscopic. Right now, which virus? COVID-19. It's a virus from other microorganisms. They, however, reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism. So the virus, it will enter the body of a host. For example, a virus enters our body. So our body is the host body. It enters our body and then it starts multiplying and becomes active. However, reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism, which may be a bacterium, plant or animal. Some of the viruses are in the figure. Common ailments. Ailments means diseases like cold. Cold means what? Cough and cold, running nose, influenza or flu. In flu, what happens? You suffer from fever. And most coughs are caused by virus. Serious disease like polio and chickenpox are also caused by virus. Disease like dysentery and malaria. Dysentery means loose motion. Malaria, you know what it is. You develop fever, you can't eat well, caused by protozoa, that is protozoans, whereas typhoid and tuberculosis are bacterial disease. See, these are the diagrams of some algae, protozoa, bread mold, penicillin and aspergillus, and virus as well. Now, where do microorganisms live? You have to draw all the diagrams, children. Microorganisms may be single-celled like bacteria. Some algae and protozoa are multicellular. So those which are single-cellular are unicellular, and multicellular are algae and protozoa. They live in all types of environment. They can grow and live anywhere, ranging from ice-cold climate to hot springs, desert to marshy lands. They are also found inside the body of animals, including humans. Some microorganisms grow on other organisms, while others exist freely, very freely they live. Microorganisms and us. Microorganisms play an important role in our life. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful and cause disease. Let us study about them in detail. Friendly microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for various purposes. They are used in preparation of curd, bread and cake. So microorganisms are used in making curds, that is lactobacillus, bread and cake. They are also used in cleaning of the environment. For example, the organic waste are broken down into harmless, usable substance by bacteria. Recall that bacteria are also used in the preparation of medicines. In agriculture, they are used to increase soil fertility by fixing nitrogen. Making of curd. Curd contains microorganisms. Of these, the bacterium lactobacillus, lacto meaning milk, bacillus means bacteria, helps in the formation of curds. It multiplies in milk, converts it into curd. It becomes curd. Bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese, pickles and many other food items. An important ingredient of rava and bhatura is curd. Can you guess why? Bacteria and yeast are also helpful for fermentation of rice idlis and dosa batter. Yes, yeast for bread. Even wine is prepared with the help of dry yeast, whereas bacteria is used in making of rice idlis. Take half kg flour, atta, add some sugar, mix with warm water. Add a small amount of yeast powder and knead to make a soft dough. What do you observe after 2 hours? Did you find the dough rising? Yes. Yeast reproduces rapidly and produce carbon dioxide during respiration. So yeast reproduces very quickly and makes carbon dioxide. That's why the flour becomes bigger in size. Bubbles of gas fill the dough and increase the volume. This is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making breads, pastries and cakes. Now, commercial use of microorganisms. Commercial means in big factories where they are used. Microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine and vinegar, acetic acid. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars in grains like barley, wheat, rice, crushed fruit juice, etc. This is the smell of alcohol. A sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. This process is fermentation. So, conversion of sugar to alcohol, that process is fermentation. Medicinal use of microorganisms. They are also used as medicinal properties. Whenever you fall ill, doctor may give you antibiotic tablets, capsules, such as penicillin. The source of medicine is microorganisms. Right now, what does the government tell in COVID-19 situation? To take vaccination. Now, what is this vaccine? Vaccine is nothing but a microorganism. These medicines kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called antibiotics. These days, a number of antibiotics are produced from bacteria and fungi. Streptomycin, tetracycline, and erythromycin are some of the commonly used antibiotics. Mycin. All the mycins are antibiotics. If you have committed a lot of sin, one uncle used to tell me, if you have committed a lot of sin, then you have to take all these antibiotics ending in mycin. The antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and used to cure a variety of disease. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection in animals. They are also used to control many plant diseases. I am stopping over here. We will continue in the next period. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.